Good day, everybody. It's Mel from No Simple Road. I am back to talk about mudra today. Yay! Mudra. Mudra is hand gestures that you do during yogic practices, meditation practices, and honestly, just like in every day that we don't even realize that we do. One of the most known yoga mudras, or it's not even a yoga mudra, like you can find it at church or whatever, but it is prayer pose or prayer mudra. Left hand, right hand together at your heart center. This represents a balancing. This represents a calming effect. This also is like humility and a sign of respect, not just to others, but to yourself, to your higher self. So putting your hands in this posture, in this mudra, is really amazing for calming and quieting the mind. I am really excited about the response that I got from my first video. So this is for entertainment purposes, you guys. If you want to learn more about any of the stuff that I'm talking about, the internet's fantastic for all kinds of stuff. I'm reading from Sadhana Guidelines, the book that I read from last week, a little bit about the mudras and what they are and what they represent. To me, I know that mudra helped deepen my practices because say you're sitting in a meditation and you've got these hands, your legs are still, your body's upright, maybe your mind is finally shut off or clear. Well, what do you do with these things, There's so many different mudras that can elevate your meditation experience. Why? Well, these hands are another set of eyes. I say that they're like energetic eyes. And when I do any type of body work or, energetic work with my hands, a few things happen. One, I start to feel all these subtle things that I didn't feel before. So if I just touch myself kind of heavy-handed or normally, I feel the literal hand on my body, my hand's warmth and all of that. But when I kind of lighten up my touch and maybe make it so heavy-handed, and I start to listen, and might sound strange, but when I start to listen and pay attention with my mind's eyes or my hand's eyes, it changes the touch from something that may be physically feeling good to something that's more spiritually soothing. Using mudra. Okay, let me go back. The hands have a association with the planets. So when you are touching specific fingers together or your hands together, you are stimulating these neural pathways for communication with your body and your mind, your emotions, all of those things. I want to read you just a little blip from the book that I was talking about and just shed a little bit more light on the importance of mudra. The hand is a magical tool, and I really believe that. We learn to grasp, mold, shape, create, and as an extension of your heart, because that's what your arms are. Your arms and your hands are an extension of that heart chakra. We'll talk about chakras at another time, but these are just energetic spaces that correlate with different aspects of our body and our spiritual body, our subtle body. And so anyway, using mudras for getting in touch with areas of our mind that maybe we otherwise cannot do. Why? Well, because we're distracted, or we are on the go, or we can't freaking sit still, you know? So mudras really help to kind of close the circuit. I think I mentioned last week, like the whole thing about like, at least for Kundalini yogis, wearing a head wrap helps to contain the energy, because like through all the breathing and the quick paced movements that Kundalini yoga does, it raises your energy, your Kundalini energy. And so keeping a head dress on helps to contain that energy. And it's not physical, because of course energy is not tangible, but it helps to keep that circuit closed. So does the fingers. One of the most, I'll say popular, I was going to say important, but it's not more important or less important than others. It is like using 88.1 or 107.5. It's tuning into a different channel, you know? So I'm going to just read you, like I said, a little thing about this mudras. We learned to, if you look at the palm, you will see lines form intriguing patterns. So there's a lot of palm readers out there that will look at your lifeline and be able to read maybe a little bit more in depth about your life and maybe your previous life and about the things that you will accomplish. So that is also a language that you get to learn, right? If you understand the coding, the hands become an energy map to our consciousness and our health. So being able to understand what you're doing and what these actually represent is important, because say you're dealing with something, let's just think about you're exhausted, your nerves are shot, maybe you're anxious, or maybe you're sluggish, maybe you're getting a little cold or allergies or whatever. This is information that your body has inside of it. Sorry about the weird lighting. The sun's coming through and it's kind of weird right now, so just ignore that. But the Shuni or Ravi mudra is one of those mudras that can help to bring those back into balance. This is not about trying to find cures for anything. I think cure is one of those words that people kind of hang on to. And, you know, if you go see like a spiritual healer or whatever, we put a lot of like faith in them that they're going to cure stuff about us or heal stuff about us, when really all of those things can help, but it's really up to us to do stuff to heal and help ourselves. We have to get our butts up and go to the doctor. We have to get our butts up and go eat healthier. We have to get our butts up and go exercise, or we have to get up and take our medicine, right? So like, it's always us that's responsible for our health. But these tiny little things you can add into your life and it will help. Like, it's just like waking up 10 minutes early so that you can pack your lunch, right? If you don't wake up 10 minutes early, then you got to rush out the door. So I figure last week we talked about mantra. We're talking about mudra this week. These are like little tips that maybe you're just all out of fresh ideas of how to bring more healing or cures or calmness or whatever into your life. And so that's where my angle is from. It is another little anecdote or a tool to give you more control over yourself and what you do. So the finger that is next to the pinky, so your ring finger, this is represented by the sun. And by bringing it down and keeping your other fingers straight, you are in Surya Mudra, right? And this helps to bring revitalizing energy to the body. It helps to strengthen your nerves. It also helps to promote good health. The quality of the finger is symbolized by, like I said, the sun or the planet Uranus. And the sun represents health and sexuality, high energy, and Uranus is where the nerves come in. And that can also lead to intuition and transformation or change. So a practical way to use this is, like I mentioned a little bit ago, maybe you're feeling sluggish, and right now is kind of like the perfect time. Like a lot of people are feeling anxious because there's not a lot of things to look forward to. There's not a lot of normalcy out there. So that can bring up a lot of anxious feelings, uncertainty and things like that. So our nerves are on overdrive, like freaking out. What the hell? Sitting down in a cross-legged position or on an upright chair or something like that can really help if you're being intentional, right? So you're like, I'm freaking out internally, my heart's racing, my mind's racing, I'm feeling like lethargic. What can I do? All right, let's try this little thing that Melanie was talking about, Surya Mudra. Let me just do like 5 breaths, right? Let's do 5 breaths normal. We're not going to try to do anything crazy, no pranayama, just regular breathing. Sit down straight and bring our thumb, which represents our ego, and our ring finger, which represents Saturn, the sun and Uranus. We're going to bring them together and we're going to sit down and we're just going to breathe for 5 breaths, keeping in mind that I'm strengthening my nervous system, that I am bringing good health into my body, that I am revitalizing the energy that's stale and stagnant. So that is a fantastic one. And so you would keep the rest of your fingers straight, and it's more of like depending on active or passive is another thing that we can talk about. Passive is when you're receptive. Okay, active is when you're doing. So by pressing your fingers down actively, you are doing something, and by letting your fingers touch gently, you are receiving, right? So these mudras can actually have even more of a little bit of a added benefit to it, depending on how you're pressing. One of the most popular mudras is Gyan mudra, which is, you see this a lot, the circles. It's your index finger, which is represented by Jupiter, your index, and again, your ego. Jupiter has to do with expansion of knowledge and just like out, okay? Jupiter is like big, huge. So that is this one. There's a lot of boldness in this, and it gives you that receptivity and that calmness and the knowledge. When somebody's wise or they know a lot, we're not talking about the ego part now, but when you really know something, there's a lot of confidence and comfort that brings. So this mudra is a great mudra for somebody who is wanting to get deeper into a meditation, to hear not just what their mind is saying, but the ethers, what is out there, what is being said, right? Not what you're hearing and saying your boss, your spouse, your kids, not that. It's the other stuff that we can't see here. So Gyan mudra is a really great one for receiving that kind of information and expanding on the knowledge that we already have. Shuni mudra is, I think, yeah, I didn't mean to say I think, but I was like, I thought I just said this, but I didn't. Shuni mudra is going to be the middle finger, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to flip anybody off. I'm not trying to, oh, we're running out of time.